So because this is phrased as a discussion, I'll encourage you, if you have any questions, raise your hand and throw it. It is designed with that in mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, especially if anything pops up in the middle here. But yeah, all right, with that out of the way, I'm good?
You're good.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Koen Zoskey, and today we'll be discussing the Post-FRC landscape for new alumni. So this topic is directed towards new alumni, upcoming graduates, and also mentors who are looking to guide their graduating or current alumni students. But before we get into all that, I think you should know a little bit about me. Oh no, it doesn't work. I'm gonna have to manually click through the slides, whatever. Just so you know, perspective from where it's coming from. I'm a former Stealth Techs alumni. I was on the team from the 2019 off season to the 2024 off season. I'm currently a student at McMaster University, just a couple blocks down the road. I'm studying engineering. Go figure, average FRC degree. And I want to warn you all now that I'm not an expert on this information. It's all being presented. It's shaped entirely by my personal experiences and the experiences of those around me. So it is informed, but I wouldn't classify myself as an expert. This is also my first time giving this presentation, so okay, I will be asking for feedback afterwards if you are able to, but just so you get a perspective on what the context is here. Anyway, I'd also, like I said earlier, this is going to be a discussion format, so feel free to interject. I will try to have this format in such a way that we can do it that way. Yeah, my mouse is not working. Okay, this is strange. It's weird. Anyway, I'll gap, but yeah, any questions, feel free to interject. So yeah, let's for a moment put ourselves in the minds of a newly graduated first student. This could involve you, going to post-secondary education, moving into your career, or maybe literally just getting your first job. And, like much of the first alumnus, once you graduate high school, you're also faced with the possibility of leaving your old FRC team behind. And this is a pretty unique gap to fill. So, since FIRST doesn't really have a program for, post-high school participants, the FRC community is pretty unique group and a pretty unique gap to fill. You're not just going to find that anywhere else. So, what now? Many students in this position, they'll find themselves wanting to stay attached to the FRC community and to their team. And, thus will consider mentorship. And it's a pretty logical line of thinking. And it'll be a big topic for today. So, just a warning for everyone here. The decision to go into FRC mentorship is not as clear cut as it might seem. It's not really student mentor, good thumbs up. It's my belief, and a shared belief among many others, that there's definitely a step in between being a student and being a mentor. So let's go over that. Let's say you're one of those students looking to move straight into mentorship. Here's some challenges you're probably going to be faced with. First of all, you are inexperienced, you're young, and this is more general. You might be the best programmer in the world, totally capable of teaching people, programming the whole robot on your own, you're the best, but you are young and generally inexperienced compared to the average mentor, I'd say. You're also going back, and if you're going back to your old team, you're not going to automatically gain the respect and boundaries of a mentor. If you're literally a couple months older than some of the students you're in charge of mentoring, you're more likely to be seen as their peer, which isn't so bad, peers are great. But from the perspective of your fellow mentors, you are still basically just another student. You don't automatically just upgrade in status. And on top of the challenges that come with those, I know a couple FRC alumni who are university and college now, that's generally the pathway it seems to be. And managing the intensive expectations of school and FRC is really difficult. So, for me at least, there are a handful of people out there, including Amber Veer here, who are totally built different. I don't know how they do it. It's kind of magic. don't ask him how it works. The magician never reveals his tricks, and he is definitely the magician. He is like, who's a famous magician? Like David Blaine, that's a magician. He's the David Blaine of making schedules work. So yeah, but I'll get back to that stuff later. So, from personal accounts I've heard of other young mentors, it seems the experience of mentoring straight out the gate has been a lot of like more of the same, rather than like a true growth opportunity for them. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to continue to learn and grow as a young mentor. It's definitely a good learning experience, but for some it just isn't really like what you might expect it to be. It's not always cracked up to be. So, mostly for the reasons stated earlier about the whole like being young type deal. So you might ask then, when is it a good time to mentor? The short answer is when you're ready. Oh, yes, question.
I would like to chime in as someone who graduated the first program about 2 years ago. My last year was 24. As a uni student, like my team, we are majority, at least as of now, still university students, like in mentorship. So, like as Koen said, like sometimes like to like older mentors, right? You're just another student. But I guess in the case of my team, 792, it's more or less of a peer-to-peer thing because you're still in like the same general like generation, like Gen Z, like age bracket, right? Just like in the like mid early 20s, I'd say. So I think that definitely makes a difference when it comes to like stepping into the foot of mentorship. And I think one like word of advice that our lead mentor gave me, and all of other like university student mentors give, is like to wait like a year or so before like returning, which from my experience, I got like dragged back to the team within 7 months of graduating, which definitely was a really hard transition because first year university, you're still adjusting to like a new environment and all that. So I'd say like definitely is a big challenge as a young mentor.
Yeah, I love that, by the way. You nailed it with the 1 year thing. I'm going to get to that. And yeah, there is 100% of benefit to like being closer in age to, I guess like the generation that you're teaching, because you're generally more relatable, and I don't know, this and that, mostly stuff related to being more relatable. So that is definitely like one of the pros of going, straight into it early on. And for what it's worth, like I feel like you might get the impression right now that like at this point it's like I'm saying like, oh, don't mentor. I'm just saying it's hard and it's not as clear cut as it may seem. But we're getting into that right now actually. So yeah, when should you mentor? Short answer: when you are ready. And I say this so vaguely because readiness is totally subjective. And for the purposes of this, I think it's easier to just list out when you probably should mentor. I think that list is a lot shorter. And here's where I should also mention that, just like how your circumstances are going to affect the feasibility of mentoring for you, it's not, mentoring is not the same for everybody. You could get around all of what I'm about to say by being the type of mentor who shows up like once a week or every like 2 weeks for like a couple hours. That's a much lower commitment. And a lot easier than like the average full workload. So it helps if you're looking to, mentor a team also that's like not lacking in mentors, and there's a lot of backup there already. Circumstances like that would change the calculus on should I mentor. So going forward, we're gonna assume that like mentorship means like the full average workload. So yeah, let's go through when you probably shouldn't mentor. Firstly, I wasn't supposed to show up yet. So firstly, you're in post-secondary education. That's what's supposed to happen. So for those who are in post-secondary education, the demands, schedules, and timeline of FRC are not really compatible with your schedule. Anyway, we're not talking about him. I don't know. And they're not compatible with your life choice of pursuing your education. So I think many people know someone who are both a student and a mentor, and they don't usually make up the majority, even though like it can seem at times, especially like if you're on Team Dave or probably 7902, based on what you just said, that like, from a student's perspective, it might often seem like, oh yeah, there's a lot of student mentors out there, and there are, but they do not make up the majority. It's like the exceptional 1%. So get that out of your head. That is like the majority. And like I said earlier, the feasibility of mentoring for each person is going to be subjective, case by case. So it might make sense for those people who do both, but you do need to be smart about it. Okay? You need to make it work and don't get too hooked. I'll get into that though. So post-secondary education, especially with like the degrees that FRC people are getting, I know you guys have taken the easy ones, is not easy and is very demanding, and it should take up a lot, if like not all of your time. So, it's not just the classes you have to attend. If you look at your schedule, you're like, oh, I have gaps here, here, and here. No, that is study time, okay? It's also time for you to do all the cool like student life things, go with your friends and do this and that, do all the cool things, right? So it's not very compatible. I'm telling you this is a fact. This is not debatable. Not really, at least. Anyway, yeah, student life doesn't leave much room for FRC, like at all. Next thing is you have like, oh, there it is, you have a busy life schedule. So the line of thinking is pretty much the same as like being a student. If you have a busy life planned ahead after graduating, trying to fit in FRC, it might be more trouble than it's worth. Quality mentors, Brendan, shout out, put in a lot of time to make their program strong and to like mentor correctly. So if your schedule is already going to be packed, grab some popcorn, sit back, watch the events over the weekend, interact with the community online. I love to do that. And like with any free time that you have, you're welcome to engage with that. Just mentorship might not be the right path for you. So yeah, if you have any free time to begin with, God willing. But yeah, you can stay in touch with the community and all this stuff without spending, all your time doing the thing as a mentor. Next thing that might apply to you